The story begins with a battle scene where a man named Jaskier is begging for his life from the Temerian soldiers in fear. A soldier attacks him and then time stops, which shocks him, and he sees his doppelganger. She is a witch named Shanchai the elf and teleports Jaskier to another place. Jaskier asks her, "Why you saved me?" To which she tells him that I write stories from the past, and bring those stories to the world when the time comes. Jaskier asks her what story, and she tells him the story of 7 warriors who battle against an evil empire and create the very first version of a witcher. He begins to write the story, and Sechin explains that 1200 years ago, 6 warriors, one being Fiel of the Dog Clan, Shan of the Ghost Clan, Brother Death, the sorcerers Zakar and Sindril, Meldoff and Lark. Lark reaches the Innis Doob area where she sings in a club as she leaves her clan. A man harasses a girl in a club, seeing which Lark attacks them and saves the girl by killing them. King Alvitir of Zintria is facing death threats from his people, but his warriors fight to save him. Princess Merwin falls in love with Fiel and the two of them have sex, and Fahal is caught red-handed by his father. Fiel's alliance with the princess is a betrayal of his clan, leading Fiel's father to send him into exile. King Alvitir meets his sister and asks her to marry Priscia's king so that the fight between the two kingdoms can end. Seeing the changing times, Shan sought answers, but her ancestors remained silent. On the other hand, Zintria's chief sage Balor uses magic to go to another world and ask for Eternity's help. In Innis Doob's prison, Lark meets Fiel and tells him, "You put out my cousin's eye during the war and I vowed to kill you." Commander Eredin tells the king that we have to attack from 2 sides to defeat the Priscians, but the king tells them that it will cost us too much. The king says, "I have decided to marry the princess to the king of Priscia to make peace between the 2 kingdoms." After escaping from prison, Lark's sister asks her to return to the clan as the king prepares to make a peace treaty. They start to leave but are attacked and Lark's sister dies. Lark fights with them and Fiel also reaches there to support Lark, and after killing them the duo starts their journey. A peace treaty begins between the king of Priscia and the king of Zintria, and Merwin is joined by Commander Eredin and the wizard Balor. Balor summons his monster which destroys everyone, and King Alvitir is also killed in the battle. Zintria is now ruled by Merwin in what is known as the Golden Era, accompanied by Commander Eredin and the wizard Balor. Fiel and Lark arrive at Priscia's city Gaelth. While at the bar, they find out that Merwin is a new ruler of Zintria, and she eliminated the Raven Clan and Dog Clan's people with a monster. The royal guards arrive looking for them, but they both escape. At night, Lark asks him about the monster and Fiel tells her there was a mage in Zintria who raised an ancient dwarven monolith. To get the revenge of their clans, the duo swear with the blood and decided to fight until their last breath. Balor goes to Sindril and asks him to connect the rest of the monoliths across the empire. Larks take him to her swordmaster Shan, who is willing to go with them to avenge their ancestors. Balor goes to Eternity and tells it these people will never accept me as their emperor and demand more power at any cost. Eredin tells Balor that the people of the north and south are the recipe for rebellion due to starvation, while Fiel and Lark are spotted in Gaelth. Balor tells him to talk with rebellions and orders him to kill Fiel and Lark. The trio reaches Byrel, which is destroyed by the Zintria's troops, and Fiel tells them, "We need more companions for the fight." They move ahead and arrive in a deadwood. They find no one in the town. They go to the bank and ask a dwarf bank manager about the people, but the Empire's soldiers chase them. The trio fights the soldiers and kills many of them, but the remaining soldiers set the building on fire. They find a way out and escape from there. Shan is injured while fighting the soldiers and she tells Lark and Fegel to go ahead alone. Merwin asks her mage servant Avalak to steal Sindril's book from Balor because she doesn't trust him anymore. Lark and Fiel return to Shan and see Callan, known as Brother Death. He also wants vengeance and joins them. After seeing the Shan's situation, Callan tells them about a mage but doesn't know if she can help. They find a mage named Zakar and Sindril, who is a twin brother of Zakar. Balor travels to the Otherworld with his stepdaughter and twin children, where he sacrifices the children to Eternity. Eternity is not happy with this sacrifice and gives Balor only a glimpse of power. Eternity tells him that if you want all the power, you have to sacrifice what you hold most dear. Merwin captures Eredin with his gay lover and tells him Balor must be destroyed if we are to rule this kingdom. Eredin says it's impossible, but Merwin tells him that after everything is done, Balor will kill us both, to which Eredin agrees. Zakir uses her powers and heals Sean, and Sindril explains that the queen killed the king and Fjel's family with Balor and took me prisoner. Balor went to the other world from where he brought the powers and the monster with him. Sindril opens the portal to reach Zintria, but they land in another world where a monster attacks them. They run back into their world and the monster cuts in half while crossing the portal. They reach Zintria and Meldoth calls them inside the cave so that they are not seen by the monster. Avalak finds the magic book, and Sindril tells the group if they want to kill Balor's monster, then one of us has become the monster. Knowing that everything will change after becoming a monster, Lark prepares to become a monster. Avalak gives the book to Merwin, but Balor attacks before he can kill Avalak. Eredin holds his stepdaughter on the knife and arrests Balor. Lark and Fjell fall in love with each other and they kiss. After some time, Lark wakes up to find that Fjell has transformed himself into a monster. Avalak tries to open the gate by using the book but fails, and Eredin tells Merwin we need Balor to open the gate. Sean reaches the castle and the guards stop her. Sean shows them Fjell's picture and they take her inside. Sean faces Merwin and says, I will tell you Fjell's location, but before that, I have some conditions. Sean demands her tribe's sacred blade, and 50 soldiers to bring him alive, and Merwin agrees. Fjell's eyes are now yellow, but Lark calms him down and they both have sex. Merwin goes to Balor and makes a deal with him that you will go to the other world and bring grain from there and accept me as your queen. Hearing this, Balor agrees because nothing happens in the other world and his heart is very angry for Merwin. Sean returns and tells his group she find a secret way to enter the city and guides them. Moving ahead, they are surrounded by the soldiers. The group thinks Sean betrayed them, and suddenly the people of Uthrak attack the soldiers from above. It was a trick of the Sean. Now they all put on the clothes of soldiers, tie up the Fjell, and move towards the city. Merwin forms a group of soldiers with Eredin and sends them to another world with Balor. Balor sacrifices his stepdaughter there, and Eternity empowers him and he makes Eredin disappear with his companions. Sean presents Fjell to Merwin and asks for her things, but Merwin reneges on the deal and tells the soldiers to tie her up. Lark creates a wave of rebellion among the people of Zintria so that they can fight back against this oppressive regime. Merwin tells Fjell the truth and asks him to join her, but Fjell realizes that she is too greedy now and calls her a cheater. Fjell gets angry and transforms into a monster, seeing as Merwin runs away, and Fjell kills the soldiers. Fjell confronts the vicious monster, while Sean kills the soldiers and opens the castle's gate to let her group come inside. The group moves ahead, killing the soldiers brutally, and Fjell fights the monster. Sindril sees Merwin and asks Lark to get her. Lark goes into Merwin's room and tells her you are nothing but just a bot. Merwin gets angry and attempts to attack, but Lark stabs her and says you'll die and no one will ever remember you. Balor returns back to the castle happy to find his new powers, and when Sindril and Zakir arrive he attacks them with fire. Fjell hits the monster with an axe and the monster falls out. Wounded Merwin walks in and sits at her throne, and when people arrive inside she takes out the knife and tells them to remember her. Monster is about to kill Fjell, but Lark attacks and saves him and the monster flies away. Fjell now turns fully into the monster and throws the sword which hits on the monster's head, killing it. Sindril and Zakir fight Balor, and Sindril uses his power to destroy the monolith which ends up in everything. Fjell doesn't recognize anyone of his friends and attacks Brother Death. Seeing this, Lark attempts to calm him and stabs him in the heart, killing him. The fragile veils between the worlds had been ripped apart and the skies collided and everything fell. After this, mankind walks among elves for the first time. Lark becomes pregnant with Fjell's child, and it is revealed in the end that Jaskier is Lark's son, the first version of the Witchers. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to watch more videos like this.